All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back if you're joining us again for our second live stream tonight from the AAA. Again, I'm Irene Pease, here with the Amateur Astronomers Association in New York City. I'm in New York City. I'm in Brooklyn. And but we have one of our wonderful members who is not in Brooklyn, where it's been kind of cloudy, kind of hard to see. More on that a little bit later. But we're going to bring Antoine in here, who is out where the skies are much, much clearer. Antoine, do you want to tell us where you are and what you're doing there?
Yeah, can you hear me well?
I hear you, yes.
Cool. So I'm in New Mexico, which is about 2 hours behind you guys. So the sun is actually just starting to set right now in about a few minutes. And I've got my RC Ritchie Chrétien 12.5 inch pointed at Jupiter and Saturn. And I have QHI a 183 camera. I decided to choose a mono camera to increase the contrast with a red filter to make it pop. And I'm going to show you now how it looks.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I was able to catch it. We did an earlier live stream. I don't know if anyone's tuned into that. I was streaming from the school where I work. It was just after classes ended, so some of my students were in there. It was a lot of fun. And but we checked in with Stan and John Bills. They were at Central Park. And just after we ended the live stream, it cleared enough. We were able to see it, but it was through a window in a much smaller telescope, not a 12.5 inch, but we were able to see them. So it was kind of exciting.
Let me fix
a few other posts from our observers around the city. Some people got a clearing, some people didn't, but nothing like the skies you have out there.
Yeah, even though some clouds showed up, and I was kind of like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm gonna be cloudy as well. Like you know.
Yeah.
So give me a second. I'm just
Of course. Yeah, I
re.
remember when I lived in Arizona, we were spoiled. We had like really horrible, like or really, really wonderful. Whenever we had like just a few scattered clouds, we'd say, "Oh, it's kind of cloudy," like nothing like we have on the East Coast. Totally different world, right? As far as cloudy, like what we mean by cloudy.
Where in Arizona were you based?
I was in Tucson. I was in
Oh,
Tucson for 10 years. So it was
beautiful.
a good place to do astronomy.
Yeah. So I have here the planet. Let me show you. Again, it's through my phone. So um, you should see Jupiter right here,
Hmm.
and then you have Saturn. Let
Oh my
me.
goodness. I'm gonna jump out.
Yep. So let me adjust a little bit the contrast. Again, the sun is just gonna set right now. You can see pretty well the rings of Saturn. Let me do an increase of brightness for Saturn. It's a bit dim right now. Yeah, now you see a little bit better. But again, the difficulty here is that the luminosity between the two planets is very different. Jupiter is much more bright. You can see actually a moon of Jupiter right here, as well as right here. There's two moons here. Maybe Irene, you want to jump in to see which are those two close moons?
Yeah, let me check. So I have my stellarium up. We were using that earlier. And again, if anyone's interested in learning more about how to use stellarium, we have a class coming up about that. So check our website for that. I'm seeing live right now, if I could look through the Earth, from the view you have, it looks like we should have Callisto up and to the left. So Island Callisto would be up and to the left, and Europa would be down to the right. Ganymede is in front of. Ganymede is transiting. So I don't know if there's a dark spot, if you can see a shadow at all or not.
On the planet itself?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They're not really showing much of a shadow in Stellarium, so I don't know if it's missing it. Yeah, the shadow wouldn't quite be on there yet. But it looks like with the field of view so close in, you have Io, and then Callisto is actually outside the field of view. Like it's like Saturn is almost closer
I saw why.
than
Let me lower
Callisto
the
appears.
brightness to see if we can see the bands of Jupiter. Again, there's a huge difference of contrast between the two planets. So I need to adjust a little bit here. Let me give it a shot on Jupiter. It's pretty. It's big, but again, the let me try. I don't see much details here. Maybe if I increase the exposure.
Okay. Yeah, the other night I think we had we had George in here and he was like cranking up the gain so we could bring out the moon. And eventually everything just went like white green.
Right. I, we are live, you know. That's the impediment of being live.
That's fun though. I
Yeah.
know for myself, since I don't do a lot of astrophotography, it's like such a treat to kind of it's like peeking behind the curtain, seeing what you all do with that. And I can see it's getting darker behind you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Right now, it's actually pretty. It's a beautiful. I mean, I have a beautiful view here. I'm in the middle of nowhere in
Hmm.
New Mexico, and you can see the moon
Oh,
here, and
it's
I
Mars.
believe this is Mars, actually, right there
Yeah,
next.
Mars is up there. I'm
Yeah.
not quite catching it in the view, but I know it's up there.
And if I
Where
look
in
right now
Mexico
with
are
my
you?
naked eye to Jupiter and Saturn, I cannot. Let me see. I can see the separation. It's pretty tight. Yeah,
Hmm.
with just naked eye, as you see with me right now. Uh,
Yeah.
but again, we have. Let me see if I can see those bands of Jupiter. If I increase the contrast, maybe. No, or lessen the contrast. Now I see nice ring. The rings of Saturn, pretty pretty sharp, and
That's great.
you know, it's actually my.
We're getting a little bit of a reflection of the
Uh,
phone in there, so I was like popping out
oh,
so that you have
oh.
like a darker view in there. Um,
Let me lower the. No, that's
if you can, I don't know if you can lower
luminosity.
the brightness of your phone screen.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Finding the options while you're on there. Um, if Oh wow, so we can actually see the gap between the planets, the between the planet and the rings. It looks like. Are you seeing the Cassini division in there?
I hold on. The seeing is changing. Almost,
Okay.
almost.
So the Cassini division, that's the largest gap in the ring system that we can see a lot with large telescopes. With a 12.5-inch telescope, you could definitely see that when the sky is dark enough. Every now and then um, a further division, the Ecky division. I've only seen maybe a handful of times in a very large telescope. I don't usually see that when I'm just out and about in Brooklyn with a 10-inch. You need pretty solid skies for that. Oh,
mm,
ears.
yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah. It's but I mean to see them both in the same field of view is absolutely magical. I mean, it's extraordinary, extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's like you know,
As
but
far
they
as
actually, yeah.
observing events, like, I mean, how does this compare to like other exciting things you've seen, like any other conjunctions or transits?
That's, I mean, no, I've never seen that. Something like exceptional. I mean, yes, there's something that top that is a total solar eclipse.
Uh, so
Yeah.
where did you see that?
Oh, that was in Casper, Wyoming.
Hmm.
In 2017, I was hired by Time Magazine to cover the event, and it was incredible. We did
Oh,
3 days of preparation. I took my scope. It was a refractor, astrophysics refractor, and I hooked up my Nikon DSLR in the back of it, and the day of, we woke up very early to set up camp in Casper, and I actually didn't have time to properly polar align the telescope. So it was a lot of stress because we had over 2 million people looking at the feed on time.com,
Wow.
and over 2 million people were watching through my telescope. I must say, Irene, it was just incredible. We did it. It was okay. A bit choppy at times because the tracking was not perfect, and we manually had to put the solar filter on the scope and remove it, during the totality. But I mean, it was just everybody got emotional.
Mhm.
It was very special.
Wow. Yeah, well, just so you know, you have less than 1 million people watching now. So no pressure. But, but so glad that you could join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely very cool and definitely important to have that alignment. Um, George, yeah, as we were looking back there, I know George was asking, if you can move the phone off axis? I think that's much better view. We can see there now with those.
Off
Um,
axis. Yeah. Okay.
and there's another question. Oh, Preston's ringing in. Has a question. Can you get a shorter focal length shot so we can get the sense of one big star? Uh,
Oh.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, Preston. Let me show you just with my phone. If you can see, hold on. Let me.
You're getting dark. Yeah, I noticed you have
I'm
your headlamp on there.
actually. Let
When
me
it gets
hold on.
really dark.
I can maybe use the iPhone telephoto. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
So if I change the camera settings to the back camera, yes, and now okay, and now I don't know if I can. No, I cannot change the zoom.
Oops.
Maybe Preston, you can zoom on the. It's kind of middle of the field right now. You've got Jupiter and Saturn right there. So that's your white shot.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it on the screen in here. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, how late are you planning on staying out here in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, you said?
Yep. Well, the whole winter and maybe part of the spring. I'm actually setting up that big guy here, this telescope, on a pier, and my goal is to do a remote observatory, so I can shoot photo from anywhere in the world. So I will. It's gonna be bottle one skies, and I'm really excited to have a totally independent remote observatory here in New Mexico. That's my goal. So
Nice. So
yep,
you're gonna do tours for AAA people out there, right? If we come out and visit you, we get
absolutely.
a tour.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
That's great. A couple other questions, comments. Preston's asking if you can the phone zoom the image. My understanding from when I tried that on Friday is that doesn't quite work because it
No,
yeah. Um,
unfortunately not.
and someone's asking, what about New York? So this is already set in New York. I had to cheat and remove the ground from stellarium to kind of get a view to figure out which moons were which. So this is a view from New Mexico, but we'll be live streaming again from New York City area tomorrow. We're supposed to have better weather than we had today. So that's something to look forward to. And I just want to share, as we're seeing this other awesome view, it looks like we're zooming in. There's Jupiter. Um, we're gonna get some bands in there. I wore my Keats Did It Saturn sweatshirt that I was really excited about. If you haven't seen Keats Did It, the planets have a meeting. You should check it out right after this. Keats Did It, Keats did it. And there's hoodies with all the planets. So I got my Saturn 6 rings on. Are you seeing bands there on the planet now?
Not yet. I'm trying to. Might be too early. I'm trying to increase the gain right now on the camera. I'm using SharpCap,
Okay.
and here I am working with. Hold on, exposure. I can increase a little bit of the exposure as well. About 1 second exposure, a little bit less than a second exposure. Let's see if that. And then Now they look like UFOs. Hold on.
Well, I'm also wondering if they're getting a little bit lower in the sky. I think started off pretty low in the sky. I don't know what altitude they were. If there's just a lot of atmosphere, I mean, it's a clearer atmosphere out there than you have here, but is that an issue for you out there? Have you noticed that the other night that
Yes,
you've been looking at it?
absolutely. The what we call the seeing,
Mhm.
and the seeing have been quite terrible. But right now, in the last few days, today seems okay. Oh, I'm seeing
Oh, I see
bands.
it.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
up, 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 up. It disappeared. Hold on. Uh,
Too much gain. No.
now, let me exposure a little bit more. They're gonna come back.
All right, I'm gonna pop myself out of here so we can see a bigger view of that overall.
Yeah. Give me a second. My phone is actually needs to focus here. Yeah, I see the band. I don't know if you guys see the band. The phone is a bit. Hold on. I can't. It's blurry. Hold on. It's clear for me, but for some reason the broadcast doesn't allow you to see, for you guys to see the
Yeah,
contrast.
I could kind of make out some bands. I mean, kind of vertical as we're viewing it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see that kind of off and on, even without the phone focusing on them precisely.
Yeah.
So what other features do you look at on Jupiter besides the bands? Is there anything you expect to see or want to see?
You could see. I mean, I don't think we're going to see it now, but what you could see is actually the a giant red dot, and it's actually, if I remember correctly, you could put 300 Earth in it. It's like a magic huge spot, the red spot we call it, and
Mhm.
I believe it was visible the other night. A friend of mine saw it here, but tonight, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it. I saw it on Stellarium the other night. I thought it was going to be
Oh,
visible,
Stellarium.
but I didn't
Yeah.
see it
Well.
in my telescope. Um, any other features on Saturn that you like to look for? Oh. We have some folks waving hello, waving hello to you um, from the internet. So which do you prefer? Which is your favorite planet? If not Jupiter or Saturn, that's okay too. But usually most people have a favorite that's either Jupiter or Saturn for viewing. Do you have a preference, Antoine? Oh, I'm not sure if we lost their sound. Um, let's see. See. Oh yeah, there we go. Can you hear? Do we have you? I'm not hearing you. I don't know if you want to try to pop out, pop back in again just for a moment. We won't keep you too much longer. I'm sure you have a lot of exciting observing to do under beautiful skies. I know what it's like having just knowing that you have kind of the evening ahead and that there's so much to see, so much to do out
Hey
there.
guys, I'm here.
Hi, you're back. You're back. Sorry, I
So
didn't
to
hear.
answer your question about favorite planet, actually, there's one that is forgotten a lot, and it's not a planet, but it's a moon. The
Which
moon is
moon?
incredible.
Our moon,
Yes,
of course.
our moon. Don't forget it. I mean, I was looking at it yesterday. I was almost crying. The crispness on this RC 12.5 inch scope, I was blown away. I've never seen the moon like that.
Wow.
It
Would it
was incredible.
would you be able to show us? Would it mess up your rig and your alignment if you showed us the moon?
No, let me go to it right now. It's actually
Okay,
very.
beautiful. Yeah. I have to agree, like, people, like the moon it's like in our own backyard. It's kind of like the closest rock in space to us. But I agree, just because you can see so much detail and it changes again one night to the next. You can see like how it's three-dimensional when you're looking at like the craters and Mare and everyone. And time is time misses you. Hello, Antoine, from everyone at Time.
Oh, who is this?
So you have a lot of fans out there.
Oh,
Very a lot of people
Mr.
very
Jonathan Woods.
you. You know,
Okay,
we
I'm moving the
back in
scope
New York.
to the moon.
Is that? Oh,
I don't know if you see the scope moving.
oh yeah.
So I need to make sure that there's no uh, uh, cable entanglement, because that would be pretty bad. So you see the scope turning. There's too many cables, obviously, and it's actually your rotation.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Did you have to do like a flip? It looks like
yeah,
it's
it's
quite
almost,
a
yeah.
ways.
So it's pointing now to the moon, as you can see.
Are you sure you need all those wires? That looks like a lot of wires, Antoine.
Yeah, too many wires. Okay, it's a new scope. I just got it. So, oh, oh,
Oh,
something
doing a try.
happened. Okay, it stopped because there was a cable that actually got entangled. So let me try again.
Sorry, I didn't want to break your new telescope,
It's
but the moon
fine.
is worth it, right?
Yeah, it's worth it. Hold on.
That's what people are saying. Let's see that moon. Definitely worth it.
Okay, so he lost the try. So I'm going to do it
So,
manually.
and while you're working on that, we
Yep.
have a question. Where is a good place to watch this in New York City? You just moved here. Well, welcome to New York City, Alexandra. For this, you want to find somewhere that has a relatively low horizon. So some people might be viewing it from Battery Park. If you're in Manhattan, Battery Park, or anywhere along kind of like the west side where you don't have too high of the skyline looking out at New Jersey. Some people were in Central Park going around the reservoir tonight, so that could be a good place where you'll be able to see low enough from Brooklyn, maybe Brooklyn Bridge Park, some of those piers over there that aren't necessarily closed off. So a lot of good places, a lot of good places. And if you can take another question while you're setting up, or we can hold on it. There's a Dave Shepard has a question. Another one of our astrophotographers. What mount are you using for the 12.5 RC? So I think you may have mentioned the mount earlier, Antoine. Which
Yeah.
mount are you using for the 12.5 RC?
I'm using a Ioptron CEM 120 with 4 counterweight of 10 kilogram, 20 pounds each. So it's about 100 pounds of counterweights. It's pretty heavy duty.
All right, Ioptron CM120 with about 100 pounds.
CEM 120.
CEM120.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Dave has quite the rig where he has like kind of a dual, some dual things. So that's some serious counterweighting. Also, yeah, a good comment for Alexandra. Yeah, go down to the Statue of Liberty to see the conjunction. So that's actually a really great lineup for photo. So I know we've gotten some good lineups and some nice images that we've seen. Stan Honda was sharing with us the other night. Was that Saturday, I think, some really cool shots that he got with the planets getting closer and closer. And you can see them kind of compared to the Statue of Liberty. We're using like the Statue of Liberty height and width and arm length for New York units, as opposed to, angles and parsecs and things that are more universal for astronomers all over the place. And we have Jasmine commenting.
The moon is coming.
It's cloudy today. Yeah, pretty cloudy, but she's using her Skyview app. A bright light in the sky. That was probably it. Jupiter's pretty bright out there. So if you can use like Skyview, Skywalk Light, there's a lot of apps that'll kind of help point you in the right direction so you at least know where to look. Again, it's basically southwest, maybe 15 degrees around sunset, 15 degrees above our horizon. How's the moon doing, Antoine?
Great. It's appearing right now.
All right, I'm gonna pop out so we can make this bigger. You tell us what we're looking at.
So we are looking at the moon, which is about almost half just past half of its phase. Let me lower a little bit. I'm gonna position it in the. So what happened with my mount is actually a cable got entangled, and therefore it lost the go-to. So I had to manually find the moon, which is fortunately they have a tail rod that is pretty well aligned with the optics, so I was able to. So I'm going to adjust a little bit the contrast. It's a bit too contrasty right now. Let me center it. The focal length of this telescope is 2,800 millimeter. So it's about 3 meters long. So it's pretty. You can see a lot of details. Hold on. Yeah, less contrast. And then maybe less brightness as well. Are you there, Irene?
Yes, I'm here. I was just
Okay.
quietly in the background. That's really beautiful. Is that, and that's the Sea of Crisis over there, right? Is
Yep.
that
Yep. That's it
yeah,
right here.
Sea of Crisis? So I can see those are two of the craters that I actually know the names of, Pierce and Picard, that look like little eyeballs on a flounderfish.
Oh, wow. Like Jean-Luc Picard?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's named after him. I have a feeling it's a different Picard, but yeah, Pierce and Picard, that's how I remember it, because yeah,
That's pretty
Picard.
sweet.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
is
love looking at
incredible.
the moon. And as you watch it, you can actually see like the sun rising over some of those mountains and into the craters as it's getting more full these days.
So again, here I'm using a monochrome camera with a red filter to increase the contrast because we're targeting Jupiter and Saturn. But so on the moon is a bit too much contrast, obviously, and we are lacking the beautiful color of the gray. But last night when I was looking at it, I mean, it was just incredible, like a three-dimensional effect. I had almost tears in my eyes. I mean, it was really beautiful, very, very beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the clear skies out there, I can only imagine. It's been so long since I've been been in the Southwest with a telescope.
Oh my God,
This is really
this is a dream.
beautiful.
That's
Um,
paradise.
just
Yeah.
a few more quick comments, and then we'll let you go because I'm sure you have a lot of exciting observing to do. Um,
Yep.
Jonathan Woods wants you to know that you need to work on those wires when you're back in New York City. He has a great solution for you. Some folks that were at the reservoir tonight with Stan Honda and John Bills. At first they thought they saw Jupiter Saturn, but it was a helicopter. My boss kind of stepped in and she was like, "I think I see it." I'm like, "That one's a plane." um, and thanks so much. Is there a way? I know we may not have time to pan all the way back, but can we just take another quick look at the dots in the sky? Would we be able to see the dots in the
Yeah,
sky?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Hold on. Actually,
Both
yeah.
planets. So we were looking at them in the telescope earlier.
Give me a second. I need to change the camera. Camera.
Oh wow! That's it? That little dot? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness! So I can even almost see that they're separate. That is so beautiful.
I can turn this way maybe better. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. So from here, it almost looks like one dot. I know seeing it in the sky with my eye, I could still see kind of two separate dots. You can see two separate dots, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can. I need to blink a little bit, but yeah, I do. I do. And the bright one on the left is Jupiter, and the one much dimmer is actually Saturn on the right.
Right. Yeah, and so tomorrow Jupiter will be further to the left. They'll be a little bit further separated, but we should have clearer skies. So we're going to try again tomorrow. If anyone didn't get to see it
And
today,
now you can see the moon in the top right left corner and the Saturn and Jupiter on the lower right.
oh yeah, here let me.
Can you see, Irene?
Yeah, I saw. I had to remove myself so I could see that full wide view. But yeah, so we had Jupiter, Saturn, and then the moon at the upper
Yeah.
left. So I just want to thank you so much. I just the view of the setting sun and that fading light from the southwest. I gotta tell you, I miss that. I miss that so much. Oh, goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your all your gear, especially your new telescope and your whole setup, all the specs for all our folks that know all those things and get into all that nitty-gritty and just the beautiful view for the rest of us. I hope you're having a wonderful time out there in New Mexico. We miss you, but we're glad that you're having a great time out there. So, thanks, Antoine, and thanks everyone. Hopefully, if you want to see it again from New York City, we'll be on again tomorrow, scheduled for about 4:35 on, and we'll see what we can see from our intrepid observers around the city. Planets and probably the moon again. That glorious moon will be in a slightly different phase. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.